Okay, so we're diving deep today
Yeah.
into a show that's been getting some buzz.
Yeah, yeah.
La Cocinera de Castamar.
Ooh, I've heard of this one.
Have you seen it yet?
I haven't seen it yet, but I have definitely heard about it and heard good things about it.
Yeah, it's interesting. Someone wrote in and was asking about it, like, is this worth watching?
Okay.
So, you're sitting there, you're like, okay, I just finished my last show. What am I going to binge next?
Exactly. Yeah, and there's so many options out there.
There are so many options. So this deep dive is all about helping you decide, like, is this something that I'm going to be interested in, or is this a pass for me?
I like it. So it's set in 18th century Spain.
Okay, so give me like the quick overview, like elevator pitch.
Okay, so it's 18th century Spain, and our main character, Clara Belmonte.
Okay.
She is a fantastic cook. She's incredibly talented. She ends up working in the kitchens of the Duke of Castamar.
Ah.
And so he's kind
I
of
already like where this is going.
he's kind of brooding. He's dealing with a lot of grief and the weight of his title and all that stuff, but they kind of have this connection that develops, and food becomes this like language between them.
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
It's really cool.
we got, that classic kind of like forbidden love trope,
Right.
but it sounds like there's a little bit more to it.
Yeah, there's definitely more to it. So
But just like, making eyes at each other over a bowl of soup or something.
Exactly. Like, it's not just stolen glances.
Right.
It really gets into like the class system.
Right.
And how food kind of elevates her in a way, and it becomes her voice in this society where she's not really supposed to have one because of her standing.
It's so interesting to me how they use food,
Hmm.
because when I think of 18th century, I don't know, I think of like,
Right.
very opulent and extravagant, but like you were saying, very
Yeah.
like rigid social structures.
Exactly. Yeah. And everybody's got their place, and, the servants are supposed to be invisible and unheard.
Mhm.
But she's able to use her talent to kind of like disrupt that a little bit.
Is there like a particular scene that comes to mind when you think about that?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
There's that amazing scene where she's preparing this giant feast for the royal court.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
And it's not only a visual spectacle, like the food is incredible and the presentation is amazing.
Right.
But she's using that to like make a statement.
Right.
She's asserting her presence and her influence in a place where she's not really supposed to have any.
Okay. So that kind of hits on one of the questions that our listener had, which is this worth my time?
Okay.
Like, what are the things that are really great about this show that might make me want to watch it?
I mean, the visuals alone are incredible.
Okay.
The costumes are so sumptuous and over the top, and
I do love a good costume drama.
me too. And the sets are incredible. They really transport you to 18th century Spain.
That's always a good thing. If you can feel like you're actually there,
Exactly.
that really adds to it. Okay, cool. So we got great visuals. What else?
The story itself is really engaging.
Okay.
I mean, it has like the classic period romance elements, but there's so much intrigue woven in. And the pacing is really good. It keeps you guessing. Like, you're never quite sure what's going to happen next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I like a show that keeps you guessing.
Me too. Keeps you on the edge of your seat.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So now, I know you mentioned this earlier, and I want to come back to it.
Mm-hmm.
You said that they take some liberties with historical accuracy.
Right.
Like, how big of a deal is that? Is that something that's going to be like super distracting for viewers, or?
I think it really depends on the viewer, honestly.
Okay.
Like, if you're someone who is like super into history and you're expecting everything to be perfectly accurate,
Right.
then yeah, you might find yourself getting a little nitpicky. But
Yeah, I don't need every single detail
right.
to be,
Exactly. And I think the big themes of the show, like the power dynamics, the ambition, and the struggle for freedom,
Right.
those all still resonate, even if they've tweaked a few historical details.
Okay, cool. So just to be sure, are there any other things that we should warn our listener about? Any potential downsides?
I think the only other thing is that the pacing in the very beginning is a little bit slow,
Okay.
just because they're taking the time to establish all the characters and the relationships.
You got to set it up.
Exactly. You got to set it up.
Okay.
But honestly, I think it's worth it
Okay.
because that slow burn makes the payoff so much bigger.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So to sum it up for our listener who's wondering, like, should I watch this or not?
Yes.
Sounds like La Cocinera de Castamar.
Mm-hmm.
It's got the romance. It's got the intrigue.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit of social commentary sprinkled in.
Yes.
And, it's all happening in this, like, beautiful setting.
Absolutely.
So it's more than just a fluffy period piece.
Right.
There's a little meat to it.
Exactly. It makes you think about, societal expectations and finding your voice and all of that.
Right? It makes you think, like, have we really come that far?
Exactly. Like, how much have things actually changed?
That is a great question. And I think that's a good place to leave our listener
Yeah.
with something to ponder.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for joining us on this deep dive into La Cocinera de Castamar.
Of course.
If you haven't seen it, check it out
Yeah, it's worth a watch.
and see what you think.
Definitely form your own opinion.
All right. Thanks again.
Thank you.
And happy viewing, everyone.
Bye.